Hey there, fellow readers, Rambling Collector here, and welcome back to another book review. So this one here is going to be a little bit of fun, and it's going to be a bit more philosophical, because once more we are diving into the nonfiction zone with Five Rings Illustrated, done by Miyamoto Musashi, translated by Macy Hatchard. So, I am going to tell you guys right now that I have had a very huge fascination with older cultures. Things like Vikings, or samurai, or even pirates, or even old civilizations like the Aztecs or Egyptians. That's been one of my main things with nonfiction, along with autobiographies. So my girlfriend gave me Five Rings Illustrated. I was genuinely excited to check it out. And as you can see, though, another reason that she gave it to me is because the dogs got onto it and chewed up the corners of it. So if you're wondering why this book is a little bit damaged, well, you can blame the puppies for that. I mean, what are you going to do? Dogs and books, they do not go together at all. But she had some main complaints about how it was a very dry and sort of boring book. And I do agree with her that it is a bit more of a dry read. I will say that right now. The main reason that I see that, though, is because it's more of a sword fighting or lifestyle instruction manual, is how I would view this. It talks about the ways of the samurai and the various styles of fighting, the various different scrolls of earth, water, fire, spirit, all of that. It talks about each one of the scrolls here throughout. And one thing that I really like is how this book, despite being only 160 pages in total, and that's if you include the index and the glossary and whatnot, because if not, it is 156 pages. But I really like how, despite that simplicity of it, it has a really nice feel to it of an older book. Especially with how the pages themselves are bent in a way, to where they're like double pages on the inside. Not sure if I can show this correctly, but if you can see it through here on the camera, you'll see that a lot of these pages have like pages folded back onto them. But another thing that I really like is how through each page, it has a very cool illustration. So you get the text along with a cool image to kind of associate it with that text. And I will say, this was actually very interesting. I finished this book within like 2 days. But I will say this much though, my girlfriend, she knows me way too well when it comes to literature. She knows that whatever she might not like, I might like, or she knows the kind of books to pick out that I'm genuinely going to enjoy. And she just hands them over to me. God, I think at this rate, I might as well just make like a playlist on this channel of all the books she has given me so far. Just so you guys can see just the fact that AKA, the lady knows me. She does know me. And I will say this much though. I do agree with her that it was a bit dry. There were some times I had to put down the book just to kind of reset my brain a little bit because of how much I was absorbing into it. Yet despite finishing this within 2 days, I kind of enjoyed it in a way. Yes, I did say that it was sort of a instruction manual in a way, but it's not just about the styles of fighting, which it really leans heavily on what is known as the strategic way. Such as, in other words, don't fight randomly or overwhelmed by emotions or passions. Fight smart, fight strategically. Learn to overwhelm your opponents not with sheer power, but outsmart them. And play their strengths against them. And I like how it appeals to that. And out of all the ones that I genuinely enjoyed reading about, and let me see here, the table of contents, I would have to say my personal favorite was learning about the Scroll of Water. So to put it simply, it talks about the 5 scrolls, that being Earth, Water, Fire, Wind, and Expanse. Now, Expanse is described as sort of that spiritual mastery, such as when you master all the other 4 scrolls, you will be able to master the Expanse. And it's honestly a very interesting way to look at that, if you really think about it. But I also like how it tears up the samurai stories of how they are coming out in full armor, but they always wield 2 blades, namely the katana and the wakizashi. And I did not even know that. To be completely honest with you guys, I did not know that. But reading through this, it really kind of inspires me to at some point pick up the copy of Tales of the Samurai that I currently have in my collection that still remains unread. That could be a future review at some point for another nonfiction piece, but what do I think about this? I think if you are interested in samurai or Japanese culture and their way of life and philosophy, definitely pick this up, especially if you want to see some basics on sword fighting, sort of an instruction manual on that. Just make sure to keep it away from the dogs, let's put it that way. But if I were to give this thing a solid rating, I would say a good, let's say 8 out of 10. I would say a solid 8 out of 10 for this one, just because while it does have a bit of a dry writing to it, given that it is nonfiction, it's still very fascinating to get that little peek into Japanese society, philosophy, and of course, the ways of the samurai. I'll say this much though, right now. Miyamoto Musashi, this man was a great writer. I will say that much right now. His work here was fascinating. And I really liked how the scroll of water in and of itself describes itself as being fluid, learning how to dodge, strike when it's necessary. I liked that. Not to mention how fire, pretty much, was very combative. Learning about the fighting spirit and things like that. Like I said, there's philosophical nuggets sprinkled throughout that makes this a genuinely good read. And like I've said, at some point after I finish up this pile of books that I've got next to me, I'll probably go ahead and dive into Tales of the Samurai sometime, just to see what other great stories range from the time of the samurai, or at least Japan. And who knows, you guys might see some more future reviews of ancient books or things like that, but if you guys have any suggestions for me, please feel free to let me know. Because I really do appreciate older nonfiction books that have a philosophical take to it, but also really show the older times of certain cultures. Whether it's Japanese, Egyptian, whatever. I'm always keen to learn more about some of our ancient history when it comes to around the world. And if you guys have any suggestions, please feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. And if you like this video, feel free to leave a like, comment your thoughts on this review down below, or subscribe if you're interested for more of my future reviews. And again, if you have any suggestions, please feel free to let me know that as well. It genuinely means a lot that you guys have stuck around to the end of this video, and I hope that my review will inspire you as well to pick up 5 Rings if you haven't already. Go ahead and give it a try, and if you really want a good copy to pick up, definitely go for the illustrated version. It's short, but it has a lot of great artwork into it. But I really hope that you all enjoy. Once again, thank you guys for listening. This is Rambling Collector, signing off for now, and I'll see you all in the next review. You folks, have a great day, fellow readers.